Hey everyone, it's Marie. Jumping on today, wanted to share with you a little bit about the age old adage of early bird gets the worm and if that's actually true. If you're just jumping into the blog or into the website, we tend to have a theme every month. This month, the month of May, we are talking about well being and what you do to take care of yourself, to stay sane, to make sure that you are fueling the engine that is you that makes everything else in your life and your business work. And so, in that vein, I wanted to talk a little bit today about getting up early and extreme early rising in particular. A few months, maybe even years ago, I wrote a post about 4 a.m. being the new 6 a.m. in the entrepreneur world and all the benefits of early rising. And it is still something that I firmly believe in and that I think is truly beneficial for helping to build your muscle as an entrepreneur and also helps to really fuel your work ethic. And that's whether you're an entrepreneur working creating, innovating inside of someone else's business, or an entrepreneur and staying in that visionary state for yourself and for your own business. But wanted to jump on today because I think there might be some misconceptions and some negative connotations around sleeping in a little bit. And by sleeping in, I mean getting up past 8 a.m. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about this idea of if I'm an entrepreneur, do I have to get up at 4 a.m.? So, first, let's talk about yes, you do have to get up early and why I'm an advocate for that. And then we're also going to dig into no and what are some of the ways we can look at that as a way to be productive in your business. So, yes, getting up at 4 a.m. is beneficial. And the number one reason that I say get up at 4 a.m. is because you want to be putting yourself, your well being, care of yourself first. That should be your number one priority if your business relies on you, right? And so when you think of large corporations, they do something where they put insurance on their key people. And they want to make sure the key people don't fall down, aren't available, are continuing to be able to produce for the company. In your business, you are that key person. That means that it is your responsibility to make sure that you are fully functional, operating at best case scenario the majority, if not all of the time. Now, what that means is you need to put your well being, taking care of your mental and physical being as a number one priority. So, in my example, right, I have a family, I have children, I have a husband, I have this business that I run. In order for me to put myself first chronologically in my day, I need to take where my day begins in order to execute on all of those other components of my life. And then I rewind that clock about an hour to an hour and a half. And that's why I end up getting up at 4 or 4:30 in the morning. Because if I can get up at 4:30, that gives me a full 90 minutes to 2 hours before I need to get my children up, before I need to start making breakfast for them, before I start needing to rouse my husband to get moving. All of those things that I want for myself get to happen before I start pouring energy into anyone else. So that's the first thing. The second thing about this, if you're going to go with early rising, it's also to remember then you must also go to bed a little bit earlier, right? So this model presumes that you are a person who works best in the morning. I know for myself, my golden hour is going to be in the early morning hours between about 8 a.m. and 11, where I'm going to do my best work. That's when I want to get really, really deep into any of my projects or deliverables. If I try to do any work in the evening, I find I'm dealing with the dregs of my energy reserves, and so I'm not going to be able to show up as my best, which means that is a great time for me to go to sleep. Now, you might not operate that way. You might be a person who actually thrives in the night. Maybe you're much more nocturnal, and so you get a lot of your work done at night. In that case, then it doesn't make sense to get up at 4 a.m. if you know you're going to be tired for the majority of those hours before you get to your prime time hours, right? So think about how can you devote your prime time hours to yourself. For me, that's going to be the morning, first thing before anyone else. But for you, how are you going to make that happen? The other reason that I say getting up at 4 a.m. Is because sleep is a priority. And so if you're getting up early and going to bed early, then you're making sure that you're getting your sleep, because one is contingent on the other, right? You can't get up at 4 a.m. if you haven't gone to bed the night before. And if you are getting up at 4 a.m., you're going to be kind of tired by like 8, 9 o'clock. And so it helps set that routine for your nighttime schedule. Okay. So that's all in my pros column. Yes, get up at 4 a.m. because it makes sure that you put yourself first chronologically. It also ensures that you're getting good restful sleep and putting yourself on a routine. And for me, it means I get to actually be awake, alive, and alert for my deep work during my golden hour. Now, on the other side of the equation, don't get up at 4 a.m. And this is because sleep is really important. Now, if you're the kind of person who is not a morning person, right? And I'll say I'm not a morning person in the traditional sense of the word. I am not friendly in the morning, but I am extremely efficient. Okay. So different. All right. But if you find getting up at 4 a.m. is very, very difficult for you, your brain does not function well in the morning, it's not your golden hour, then you should probably use that time to sleep. And that is also a form of self-care and making sure that your engine is charged and ready for being productive. The other thing that I will say about this is you can get up later in the day and still make yourself a number one priority. And you can do that by infusing your day, infusing your work sprints with well-being breaks throughout the day, where that's, you do 90 minutes of work and then you get up and you have a cup of tea, or you take a walk outside, or you stop and smell the flowers, or you do a journaling exercise, or a 10-minute meditation, or you take some healing breaths. There are thousands upon thousands of these mini breaks that you can take to help you keep your energy up. And there's actually a phenomenal article about this idea of how to manage your energy that was put out, I think, by Harvard Business Review. I'll try to drop the link for you guys. But it talks about this very concept. So it's not about just putting yourself first chronologically, but also how can you embed your self-care into your daily routine in a way that's really non-disruptive to the workday. And then the third thing that I'll add is, no, you don't have to get up at 4 a.m. because no matter what, especially as a new business owner, if you're in startup phase, you're going to work a ton of hours in the beginning. Okay. Everyone has that mountain to climb in the beginning to get things started. It's that startup phase. So things are going to be harder. They're going to be more strenuous, typically when it comes to the time that you're putting in. Now, I don't mean hard and strenuous in terms of, stressful. It doesn't have to be stressful, but it is going to require more of your time, more of sometimes your energy than you may be accustomed to later on in your business's development. And then, of course, like every mountain, once you get up to that crest, you get to coast down the other side. It all does pay off. But because of that, just remember, no matter what time you wake up, it's going to be a long day, at least in the beginning. Okay? So those are my 2 cents. Don't kill yourself getting up at 4 a.m. if it doesn't actually align with your goals and what you want for your business. And 2, remember that you can start baking in some of your well-being practices into your everyday routine as a way to continue to re-energize yourself no matter what time you wake up. All right. So please let me know if that helps you out. I'm very curious who is getting up and rising extremely early versus those who have never been on board with that plan and are now relieved that I'm saying so. But do drop some comments down below. Let me know if you are an early riser, what you do in that time to set yourself up for the day. And if you're not an early riser, how do you infuse your well-being practices into your daily routine?